How y'all doing tonight? Doing good, doing good. We got the energy up. We got almost a packed house. People coming up from the stairs. I'm sweating a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But it is very good to see all of you here in person, some familiar faces, some new ones. I feel very privileged, honored to be here with y'all tonight, and not staring at everyone behind a screen, a Zoom screen, into the existential void of names and boxes and screen sharing, all that. I'm really glad that we're here back in person. It feels good, and it feels good to be part of this experience with one another. And so to reintroduce myself, thank you Indra first and the Asian Art Museum staff for putting this all together for us to be here tonight and be a part of this experience. So if we could give a round of applause really quickly to the Asian Art Museum staff before we get started. So I teach Asian American studies. I also work here and there in the Diasporic Vietnamese community. And for tonight, I am so sure that we are going to have a majestic musical performance, right? And so I don't know if y'all knew this just quite yet, but for tonight, we're having a concert. But this concert is going to be a little bit different because it's not just going to be about the performance itself, but it's also going to be about the process, right? So we'll have conversations in between each of the pieces that you'll be experiencing tonight with the artists who put them together and worked on them. And so all of that will be for our oral, visual, and visceral enjoyment. So y'all have a lot of, I'm trying to gas up tonight for a lot of my students who are here for extra credit. So thank y'all for being out here. But without further ado, I have the distinct honor of introducing our artist for tonight's program. I first want to begin with our special guest for tonight, Master Charya Burt, who is an acclaimed master dancer, choreographer, vocalist, and teacher of classical Cambodian dance, who has injected new life into the dance form by creating inventive new works. Following the Khmer Rouge genocide, Master Burt trained extensively with Cambodia's foremost surviving dance masters, eventually joining the dance faculty of Cambodia's Royal University of Fine Arts. Since emigrating in 1993, Burt has performed throughout the United States and has trained thousands of dance students in California. A 2019-2020 Dance USA Fellow and Isadora Duncan Award recipient for individual performance, she is the founder and artistic director of Charya Burt Cambodian Dance. So if y'all could please give a round of applause. And we'll be bringing all of the artists up on stage at once, so you know. And of course, I would now like to also introduce the lead composer, director, maestra herself, Miss Vân-Ánh Võ, who is an award-winning composer and master of Vietnamese traditional instruments whose music blends the unique sounds of Vietnamese instruments with other musical genres. She has collaborated with the Kronos Quartet, Alonzo King LINES Ballet, and the Oakland Symphony, and she's presented her music at places like, Carnegie Hall, the Kennedy Center, and the Lincoln Center, in addition to here at the Asian Art Museum. She co-composed music for the Academy Award-nominated Daughter from Danang and the Emmy Award-winning soundtrack for Bolinao 52. Her latest CD, Three Mountain Pass, was selected as one of NPR's, she also has an NPR Tiny Desk concert, if y'all didn't know, Best 10 World Music CDs of 2013. Vân-Ánh Võ has received the Artist Laureate Award for her dedication to serving communities through the arts. And she will also be introducing the Moon Orchestra as later on in the program tonight. So if y'all could please give it up for Miss Vân-Ánh Võ and the Moon Orchestra. All right, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Philip. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for being here tonight in the middle of the week and other hours that I know that all the highway is like congested. But we promise that I myself and Blood Moon Orchestra member will promise that we will give you a very, very special treat tonight. To start with the program, we will share with you a song named Lullaby for Country. we have Jimmy Nakawagawa on taiko drum. We have Joel Devel on marimba lumina. And Adam Fong on bass and electronic music. Thank you. This is the first piece that Blood Moon Orchestra shared tonight. The second piece is very special because this is the piece that we combined and work together so that we can bring the music of Vietnam and Cambodian music together. So this is one of the projects that I have been working on with my ensemble to bring it to you very soon as a full production. So the next song that we will have is named Tok Yum. I also want to introduce to all of you a very special guest for the songs, and also for tonight is Master Charya Burt, and she has been doing a lot of work and bring the music of Cambodian traditional music and the Cambodian royal dance, ballet dance alive. So yes, so just before you can enjoy that, I need to tune the instruments. Fantastic, Master Charya. Can you stay here a little bit? Philip may have some question. Yes, for you.
Yes. Could we give it one more big round of applause for Lullaby for a Country in Tocheum? What a way to start the night, you know. I feel this is divine, if I could say so myself. Like, I feel the ancestors smiling upon us. So I want to thank you both for blessing us with that. My first, I'm like, is it me? My first question for you both, I have the two maestros is, I want to get to know a little bit more about your origin stories, right? Like, how did this collaboration come to be? Right, you have a very traditional Vietnamese instrument with the Dang Chan, and then Master Charya Burt out here with the traditional Cambodian dance. So how did this marriage happen?
Okay, I will say first. I always very, very much think that the music has been helping me to learn about the differences and learn about new cultures. And living in the Bay Area allows me to do even more of that. But then Cambodia is a land and a neighbor and a very beautiful country that I have never had any opportunity to play music with. And then when I start working on the Mekong project, I think that I have to work with and play with, or at least be able to listen to some beautiful music from Cambodia. And then, so I head out to find if there is any master musicians in America or in the Bay Area. And of course, I find this jam, Master Charya, and then so just that. And then I just go and ask Charya if she want to play music with me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you, everyone. Yes, I felt so fortunate to have met Danang and to be able to work together. And I feel like we're neighbors, and we got to know each other more. And I think through art, it helped us to really bridge that gap. The song that you just listened to is called Do Yom, and it's a gibbon whip. And so this song that Danang and I have worked together, I wrote a little lyric to it. It's during the pandemic. It's when, of course, everybody know that we feel isolated, we feel sad about our world, and the world was all of a sudden being frozen, and we were locked into our own little rooms. And so for me to think about this kind of expression and talk about how sad we are and how lonely and crying, and it's extremely emotional, but at the same time, we think about how we can move forward from this sadness, and the song talked about being sad, but at the same time, we gotta wake up and be able to gather all our strength together and to be able to use that string as a resiliency and to move each other forward. And so that's how we decide to put this song together and work together to present to you tonight.
Thank you, Charya, so much. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, and I know Master Charya will be rejoining us. She's got to go change for one of the songs later. Mm-hmm. And so, how are you doing, Jivanan?
I think we are doing good.
Y'all
Thank
doing
you.
Good? Okay, just checking in, you know.
Yeah. So maybe all of you already know. So tonight we have a theme that we focus on is about the Mekong subregions, Greater Mekong subregions, and also about environmental issues. And I actually be here today thanks to Asian Art Museum, but also thanks to a big support from Hewlett Foundation, who actually commissioned my work, Mekong Live, that concentrates to bring the music of the 5 countries who lives along the Mekong River and to tackle and bring the awareness of the environmental issues here. And this project has helped me to be able to do a lot of field research trip in the area. So before, let's share with all of you one of the first videos that I had from my research trip. So Ted, can you start the video? Video, you could see that in the region, since the Mekong River is just like the main blood veins for the region, you see that everyone uses water as the way of transporting. Even the little boys, you see how big the boat is, and I'm amazed that they can just paddle it, and they go everywhere, whereas I was with the life vest, and then they just worried that I would fall down into the river. And so that is the some image that you see, but then in the Mekong live production, which will be premiered at Stanford Live in Stanford on April 23rd, 2023. We hope that you will all come again and see all the production in the theoretical movement. But yeah.
Right, and I mean, this project is a multi-year project. How many times have you been to the Mekong subregion so far?
Yeah, I have been there. I went back and forth in 2017, and I talk to people, interview them, listen to their story, listen to their music, and bring it back. And so later on, you will hear music that we actually I developed it from the music that from the field research trip, because environmental issue is not only happened like we see that on the fish bodies or on the food or on the water, but it affects on the traditions. There's a number of traditions that disappear because there's no water, then no water celebrations, water ceremonies, and a lot of that is go along with the environmental issue.
And I think one of the things that's I think so incredible about this story is that you aren't just an artist in this capacity, right? You're both an advocate advocating for the environmental change that's happening in the greater Mekong subregion that's impacting us all over the world, and you're also an activist, right? In the way that you're, I don't know if you know, I would say that you are Jivanan, but in the way that you're preserving the culture in this way and expressing yourself in a way that moves people, right?
Thank you.
So if we could give one more round of applause for the Discovery Mekong project. Y'all will also be hearing more excerpts from the project, right? Jean?
Yes, yes, yeah. So this is, when I talked to Asian Art Museum about this event, we decided not to call it as a concert, not as a workshop, but we call it interactive event and music. So if you do have any questions, just raise your hand and we will answer you. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and I think how we're gonna do that, I know we've got the AV crew in the back and we've got Indra from the Asian Art Museum. There's a mic going around. I think there will be a couple of times throughout tonight's program where we'll have a chance for the audience to ask some questions. If y'all, does anyone have any right now? Maybe we'll take like one or two. One. And I got the signal. Folks in my class, you need to write a discussion question to submit online.
Because they get an A if they ask a question.
Yes.
Here, Joseph.
Hi, thank you. Beautiful music. For those that aren't aware, can you help us to distinguish the difference between Vietnamese and Cantonese music?
Oh, yes.
Oh, Cambodian, excuse me.
Yeah, Cambodian music. We share a lot in common, but then we also have our own distinctive way. So let's start something with more general and, understanding something like food, right? All of us eat food every day. All of us eat fish sauce, pretty much, yeah? Yeah, right, okay. But then the Vietnamese would use fish sauce in different way, whereas the Cambodians would use it different way. And there's only one thing that makes it different. So for example, when we make the fish sauce, the dipping sauce for spring roll, if you go to Vietnamese restaurant, I bet that you love it. I love it. So we have sugar, lemon, vinegar, water, fish sauce, of course, mixed together. And then that's the kind of like fish sauce dip that you eat. Well, there's one element that's different from Vietnamese to Cambodian. Can any of you guess? No? Yeah, so you just need to put a little bit of lemongrass into that. And that will, you go to Cambodia. So there's a very much similarity, but then the difference. And then how we serve it. We serve it, in Vietnamese, we serve with all different kind of herbs. We have so many herbs with different kind of this. But then in Cambodia, you will always have the green mango sliced into very small pieces, and then you eat with whatever, it tastes so good. I think that one of my joys is that when I go on the research trip, I stay at the family, the local family, and they cook and feed me whatever they eat, and it's always so good. So come back to the question about music. That is the same way that we do. We use the same scale, but then should buy a vibrato, a vibration on our left hand, it changes the texture. Mainly the Vietnamese traditional music, the soul of Vietnamese traditional music stay in the performer left hand, because our language has 6 different tones, so that we use the left hand to change the tone. For example, when we have the one word M-A, ma, like spell out M-A, but we ma, 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 ma. So I actually say 6 different words, 6 different meanings in that, but I use my left hand to recreate that. So yeah, hopefully that is something that I answer the question. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that question. For everyone else, we will have more opportunities for some audience Q&A, so jot them down in your phones or in your notes. Jivanan, I know so would you call the Southeast Asian region, Southeast Asia, your home?
Well, it's the whole Southeast Asian just opened up for me so much. I do feel like I am home when I go to that region, but of course I feel here San Francisco Bay Area is my home because I am surrounded by the best open hearts like all of you. So yes.
I asked because I know this next piece that you're going to be playing for us, The Fire, right, is a piece that came out during a time when we were all stuck in our homes, right? And I know that I think it was commissioned by the San Jose Jazz Festival, and its title, The Fire, kind of speaks to this duality and passion of what a fire is, right? Something that both burns as well as lights up and breathes life into us, right?
Yes. So the next piece that we want to share with all of you is that I was commissioned by San Jose Jazz Festival, and I wrote a piece and arranged by Moon Orchestra. So I would like to invite my ensemble member back on stage, and then we will share with you a song called Fire. lâu có lẽ lên xu cùng rất nhiều qua xem đồ mó mai. Trời đất sinh ra đá một tròn trách làm hai gã dòng trâu là trâu quen mà luồng gió thông gieo gió thập gió luồng gió thập gió thập gió phập phồng phập phồng phập phồng phập phồng. Giọt nước hữu tình tôi lõm bõm con đường vô hạn tối hoang kèm ai học đá dài chuyên háo hàng ra lắm kẻ tháo hở hàng ra lắm kẻ tháo hở hàng ra lắm kẻ nhầm lắm cả nhầm lắm cả nhầm lắm kẻ nhau. Chẳng phải ngô thì chẳng phải đầu thì chẳng lấp áo không cả ảnh dân trước mặt nằm và bãi đất sau lưng lắm kẻ 3 6 7 3 6 7 3 6 7 3 6 7 3 6 7 3. Khi cảnh si tiêu khi dưỡng chạy giọng sư cụ rất nghèo ta sẽ đỏ mó mà tu lâu có lẽ lên sư cụ rất nghèo và sẽ đỏ mó mà. Thank you. Jimmy Nakagawa. Joel Dabell. Adam Fong. And my name is Vân-Ánh Võ. Okay, so thank you. The next one is another video clips that I did in the trip recently in the summer with in Laos. So I went to ask the elderly about their life, what have been affecting their life and their livelihood. So before we talk a little bit about that, let's to leave all of you watch this video.
แม่นแหละน้ำนั้นจะคงที่ขึ้นอันนี้อยู่นี่หมดปีเด้นี่อยู่นี่หมดปีขึ้นก็อยู่นี่
มันจะขึ้นอีก
แล้วมันจะว่าขึ้นกับรถอยู่ในระดับเดิม
บ่มีคือเป็นเกาะเป็นดอนเลยเป็นเก่านะแบบว่าคันว่าขึ้นแล้วบ่แม่นยามขึ้นก็ขึ้นบ่แม่นยามลงก็ลง
บางเขาเอิ้น
เพื่อนกำลังสร้าง
แต่ว่าเวลาได้เพิ่นเทเนาะเพิ่นก็จะปล่อยน้ำขึ้นสัญญาปล่อยน้ำจะลงบ่ไว้อันจักแล้วก็ขึ้นมาบ่ไว้อัดแล้วก็ขึ้นรถแล้วบ่เก็บนำใบนี่แล้วก็ปล่อยเสียบางเทื่อนึงก็ใส่น้ำอูนี่มาผสมอีกก็หลายกว่าแต่บึดเดียวได้แต่ให้อยู่ในระดับประมาณนี้นั่นมันยังลำบากน้ำเป็นวง
เป็นดอน
มันจะเป็นน้ำตีดอน
ขึ้นมาไปเมื่อกี้แล้วน้ำมันเป็นดอนแล้วก็เป็นตาไข่ไปงั้นแล้วก็ยามเดือน4เดือน5ในแกมันลิ้นดอนนี่แม่นแล้วว่าอยู่บ้านนี้ดอนมงคลบ่ได้มีนั่นสิมงคลเพิ่นได้ตา
เต็มนี่เลย
ใส่ได้เฮ็ดเป็นแม่นแหละเทียมเอาได้เนาะเฮ็ดดอนเป็นดอนเทียม
สัญญาขึ้นสัญญาสัญญาขึ้นสัญญาเพราะว่าคาถาจะเฮ็ดได้เหมือนเดิม
có gì làm phiêu có tháng khao mấy nuôi cháu du lập
Before we continue, I just want to let you know that in order to have this research trip happen, not only I need or I get supported from Hewlett Foundation or National Endowment for the Arts, the Kennedy Center, but one of the organizations which is very important, that is the Vietnamese American for Non-Governmental Network, VANGO, who is my partner in the project, helped me to connect with the local people, and to wherever I go, they help, and also for the event today, they help to put it together. So thank you, VANGO.
Right, and a part of this Mekong Life project that Vân-Ánh Võ is a partner of, they are trying to pivot towards action on these environmental issues, right? So just to give y'all a little bit of context too, a survey was sent out to Vietnamese American youth on issues like knowing factors of climate change and global warming, water, energy use and conservation, recycling, waste management, agricultural, food production, things like that, right? And then I know, Vân-Ánh, you were talking earlier about when the environment changes, right, and when we face these issues, it's not just about the water levels rising or the temperature rising, right, but we see it in so many other aspects of humanity, right, and of life. So would you mind speaking a little bit more about that and what you saw on this research trip?
Yes, so like you already saw in the video, there's elderly talking about the level of the river, and you see the beautiful waterfall. It is in Luang Prabang. It is the best part of the Mekong River. It's in Laos, so hopefully you may want to go to visit it sometime soon before things got destroyed. But I talked to the fishermen, to the local people, and then in Cambodia too, they told me that every year they would grow the one type of rice called climbing rice, which means that when they grow it, they can just walk into the rice field and then grow the rice. But then, within about 3 months' time, the rice start to just grow up to 8 feet tall, because the water from the the source goes down to Cambodia and reach their villages. Then the water level should rise up, and then so the rice just keep climbing above the water level. So in about 3 or 4 months, they will be able to collect and harvest the rice. But with all the hydro plants, hydroelectric plants, the water was stopped. The water is stopped during the dry season. And when the rains has too much rain, they release the water without telling the villagers. But when they release the water comes down with the same level of from 1 foot to 8 feet high in a matter of 3 days. Can you imagine that? What kind of thing can survive in that 3 days with so much water coming? So that is something that they share with me, and they have to deal with, cope with, and then they have to find a way to somehow live with it or find a different way. And then so there's tradition that disappear. There's the normal way of life just no longer be there. So yeah, so that's just something that you see in the video. Yeah.
And I think that in this next piece, which is titled Calling River Turn, and I think maybe if I am imagining what it's like over there in your trip, maybe there's a little bird that came and sang in your ear, right? And inspired you for this next song with the Blood Moon Orchestra, where we'll also welcome back Master Charya Burt,
Yes.
right, T?
Yeah, so the river tern is actually the name of the birds that is endangered in the Mekong sub-regions, and I get the knowledge and learning about all of that by working with scientists in Princeton University. So right after this, next week, we will go to Princeton to continue to work with scientists there. They teach us and help us and guide me and my ensemble through the ecology problems and biology problem in the regions, and we get that and get the inspiration to write music to bring the awareness of the environmental issues. So yes, the next piece is Calling, and the river turns. I would like to invite my ensemble back, and also we will have Master Charya Burt in this piece as well. Thank you. Master Charya Burt. Thank you.
How are y'all doing tonight? Y'all feeling good? Woo! Man, I feel like I've been in a dream. Like, got me teleported somewhere, some time and place, somewhere else, you know. We're almost at the end of tonight's program. I promised y'all that we would have some time for maybe 1 or 2 audience Q&A questions, right, Indra? So if y'all have any questions, feel free to raise your. We got one over here. We got a couple over here. Where are the discussion questions at?
Here I come.
We're going. Any questions that you have about any of the songs, the issues, the program, the artists? Yeah. If you could introduce yourself too.
Yeah, I'm from Berkeley and a friend of Vân-Ánh, so this is a question for Vân-Ánh. You played the the single string instrument danbo. This piece, yes, I could understand, but the previous one, the fire, I was so amazed that I learned that it's supposed to be a classical, very disciplined, and it takes a lot of practice and well scripted, right? But you apply that to a jazz piece with such an easy spontaneity. So can you explain that a little bit? Tell me your story about that danbo piece.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for asking that question. Okay. So I learned all the instruments since I was 4 years old. So I had been playing and composing, sharing my music for 30-something years, almost 40 years already. So before coming here, I won the national championship title for my instruments in Vietnam. So, but then I came here in 2000 and I became zero, like no one knew about me. In Vietnam before 2000, I played music for almost every president in the world who visit Vietnam or any newspaper, I would be in that. But 2000, fast forward to here, zero. So I didn't really know what to do because I know that the music in Vietnam that I did would not be the one that I be able to share here. The one main important thing was because in Vietnam when I play music, I was told to play. The song I play, I was told to play. It wasn't the music that I chose to play. So in here, I know that it gives me the opportunity that I can write my own music and tell my own story and do, bring the sound of my instrument the way that I feel like. And then, but then I don't know anyone here. And then I have, I finally got to meet some jazz musician, and they asked me that, oh, well, okay, you play a lot of instruments, just bring over and we jam. And then they said, you have to remember that 2000 I just arrived here, and my English was just like this. And I had to tell them that, well, I don't know what that means because I only know traffic jam. So what do you do? What do you do with that in music? And then they said, oh, well, don't worry, we will improv. And I was so scared because it's even, I never heard that word before. And then I told them that, well, I really want to play. So I asked them, how about you play? And then I will listen to see what do you do, and then maybe I'll be able to do it. And to my surprise, it's just like what I learned from my masters. So in Vietnamese traditional music, when we learn with the masters, we have to learn the song as it is. But as soon as I learned that the song, my master would ask me and made me and forced me to play something else, my own version of that same songs. Because our traditional music is doesn't have the chord structure like jazz and like Western music. We have the horizontal structure, means that 8 of us, if we sit together, we have to play 8 different kind of versions of the same song, but then we have a little agreement that we meet here and then we depart again, and then we meet and we depart again, and so each of us have to find way to rephrase the sentences. So yes, to go back to this question, I then take my instrument, improvise, because it is what I did all the time when I was in Vietnam, but I didn't even know. So I'm improvise, and the most important thing is that I want to use my instrument now to tell the story of what I feel, of my community, of my generation. So yes, this is an ancient instrument. I play the piece just now. You heard the river turn. It's very slow and sweet, and that is more towards the traditional sound. But fire is something that I feel like there's times that all of us feel like the fire is going on inside you. You want to do something. You want to help. You want to, get out of the situation like COVID that all of us got in. So I play something that it's like what you heard. So, yeah. So hopefully I answered the question.
Thank you, Chi. I think that's the idea that we're going to depart and then eventually meet again. That's a very Vietnamese feeling, I feel like, to hang up lai, right? And we might have to cut Q&A a little bit short, but I know you'll be around after the program if folks still have questions to be answered. We have one last song before we get to that last song called Hang Ha. I want to again thank the California Arts Council and Hewlett Foundation for their gracious sponsorship, funding for this program and the Mekong Life Project. I also want to thank the Diasporic Vietnamese Artists Network, or DVAN, for being one of the co-sponsors. You can check us out on Facebook or on Instagram at @weare_DVAN. And then, of course, the Vietnamese American Non-Governmental Organization for working with Vân-Ánh and putting this all together. So without further ado, I'll pass it back to you, Chi, to close us out.
Thank you. Okay, so now we will listen to the last song, Hẹn Hò, Autumn Dating Song. Joy Audabelle, Adam Fong, Master Charya Burt, please. Thank you. And my name is Vân-Ánh Võ. Thank you very much again, the Asian Art Museum, California for the Art, Hewlett Package, VANGO, and many, many more people, and all of you come here tonight. So thank you, Philip and DVAN as well for co-sponsored this, organized this, and so so now if you have question, or I don't know, or what time we have to get out of here.
Wait a sec. Could we take a couple, John? Maybe one question, and then I think one question, but a short answer, and then you can just come and talk to all of you, okay, after. So do we have a public question everyone like to ask? Or anyone would like to ask? We got one right here, okay.
Hi, I'm so glad to see you both on stage. And a question for DVAN. So you went to the south of Vietnam, to the Delta, and then to the Cambodia kind of in the middle, and then Laos higher up on the Mekong. Did you notice any kind of similarity or difference in the kind of complaints that the people that lived on the river had about the way that it's been changing?
Oh yes, so you know, there's many things that, like again, people cannot really do as the water should get drier. And in our research trip in Cambodia, we actually had to go on a road that is so bumpy and a lot of rocks that the driver that we hired says that refused to drop us. And then we said, no, but we already paid you. And then he said, like, no, if I drive on that road, then the wheel will, you know, broke, and that's it. And then he said that it's about like 10 kilometers away, just walk that way. And so we had to stop, and then finally found someone with a tractor came by, and then we got on that, and then hired that person and took us into the village. So there's many things that they share a great deep concern about the environmental issue, about how they are going to do. They share about the fish should get too small and even nowhere to be found. And they just, you know, like talk about more and more things that weird that happen. But then one common thing is that they have very, very warm heart. They welcome me, welcome us, welcome my groups doing the research, and they share whatever they have for the day with us. So yes, there's many, not only in the life itself, but also culture and song and some languages as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. And yes, please do not, to help us to have more programs like this, please help to fill out the surveys link, and also please follow us on our website or Facebook. I don't really do Facebook much, but anyway, you can find me there. And the concert of the production Mekong Live with Moon Orchestra and Master Charya Burt will be world premiere at Stanford Live on April 23rd, 2023. So if you worry that you might forget, then just go on my website and you can find all of us there. So please, and hope to see all of you again soon. Thank you.
Should we take a group picture?
Yeah, let's take a group picture, and then anyone who wants to take picture with us, just come. Yeah,